Hello there. Welcome to Primary's Corner. I am your host, Personatus Vol, primary and founder of the Outer Rim Praxeum. This week, we'll be finishing up our series on Makashi types 5 and 6, and we will also be going over the classes Jedi Guardian and Sith Inquisitor. But before we go over that, we have our first question of the week.
I have a question. When is it a good moment to use Makashi 3 and 4? I imagine in combat, it is hard to get a victory if your strategy is to always stab.
That's a great question, and you're already on the right track. It's the rare duelist that can use Makashi types 3 and 4 on their own and still get kills. Now, they're still pretty effective on defense by themselves, but to get kills, they're best used while transitioning or blending them with other forms. Good question, thank you. Now, we'll go ahead and move on to our classes, starting with the Jedi Guardian. Now, I consider the Jedi Guardian basically the Jedi Classic. Your Obi-Wans, your Anakins, your Lukes. The Jedi Guardian is what I would kind of consider the fighter class. They have lots of different ways of hitting you really hard with lightsabers, but they don't really have much to back them up in the way of force powers. Now, in single combat, the Jedi Guardian uses their versatility to sort of give themselves a custom-made approach to any individual they face. Okay, that guy's coming in really aggressive. I'm going to go ahead and go defensive for a while, and then I'm going to unleash some aggression when it's my chance to attack. Or, okay, that guy's trying to stay out of range of me. I'm going to rush him and take him down as fast as I can. And there's a number of different ways that a Jedi Guardian can approach one opponent or the other. Now, in group combat, they tend to be on the front lines, but back enough for them to sort of see the battle as a whole. They tend to go after the Sith that's not necessarily the biggest or the baddest, but the Sith that is presenting the greatest threat on the other side of the field. Now, the Jedi Guardian has access to all of the Jedi forms: Soresu, Ataru, Shien, Nimin, and Vapad. And because they're an aggressive class, they can receive training in the double-bladed lightsaber and Jarkai dual-wield fencing. The Jedi Guardian wields a blue lightsaber. Now, to move on to the Sith Inquisitor. The Sith Inquisitor is the evil sorcerer of the Sith. They use their power and the Force over their ability with the lightsaber. And in both group and single combat, they tend to either fall back on the lightsaber as a weapon of last resort for self-defense, or they'll simply use it to toy with their opponents. It's like, see, yes, my lightsaber skills are so inferior, and yet I'm still holding you off because of my brilliance. Anyway, the Sith Inquisitor has access to Makashi types 1 through 4 and Nimin, and they may choose up to 2 of those forms. And like all other Sith in the Praxeum, the Sith Inquisitor wields a red lightsaber. Now for Makashi types 5 and 6. These forms are unique among the forms we teach. Types 5 and 6 use a backhanded stance, with the blade going down. Now, in Star Wars lore, what we call Makashi types 5 and 6 has more in common with Ahsoka and Starkiller's use of Shien, with that backhanded stance. But for us, with balance purposes, in their basic forms, Makashi types 5 and 6 have more snap blocks and strikes, so they really don't quite count in the Form 5 family. However, in their more advanced stages, they do get a more flowy type of combat than they do in the basic forms. But because of their snappiness at the beginning, we classify them as Makashi.
In its basic form, Makashi 5 is a two-handed form, using quick snaps with the hilt as a lever. On defense, Type 5 is held level with the head, and uses hard snap blocks for every strike zone. Type 6 is one-handed, with the offhand behind the back. It uses a rotating wrist motion to strike. Type 6 defense also uses quick snap blocks, but while standing sideways and with slighter arm motions. More advanced applications of these forms introduced more flowing strike patterns. Their strengths are defensive speed, a stone wall defense, and unique strike angles. Their weaknesses are they are difficult to maneuver for attacks, they can be difficult to transition into top-handed forms, and they have a mediocre natural attack. The canonical master of types 5 and 6 is Ahsoka, because Starkiller isn't canon.
Well, that wraps it up for episode 4 of Primary's Corner. Thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Now, next week we will not be having an episode due to the holiday, but tune in the week after that when we'll start going over Form 3 Ceresu and the classes of the Jedi Consular and the Sith Warrior. Once again, I'm your host, Personatus Vol, and I leave you with the House Vol family motto, Semper Novandi, always innovating.